Good morning, traders and investors. Welcome to a bit of a delayed edition of Friday's Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep. I'm your co-host, Joel Elconin, along with Dennis Dick. We got a big day ahead of us. We might even talk a little bit of sports here. We will talk about the Kentucky Derby and the Kentucky Oaks, a little bit of preview there. Will this be a buy the dip opportunity? Earnings from Docusign, Broadcom, Smith & Wesson. Got the jobs number. We'll talk about the tech wreck. Also, we'll talk a little bit of earnings. We'll have Jason Raznick joining us here at 8:40, 8:45 a.m. Let's just break down the markets here and take a look at the S&P 500. Got near yesterday's low. Yesterday's low came in at 21 and change. We got the 26 and a half. Your pre-market high comes in at 84 and a quarter. We've backed off 30 handles since then. You have crude. Crude's trading in the green by 27 cents here at 41.64. Also, you have gold trading up $8.10 here. Call it $8 at 1945.70. You have silver in the green trading right at 27 even, up 12 cents. And Bitcoin loses 11,000. That's down $250 at 10,470. We did have some earnings after the close, but before we do that, let's bring in the master of disaster this morning, Triple D. What are you seeing out there?
Disaster is the word of the day. It's better than it was last night. We'll say that because they were epically murdering anything to do with tech after hours last night. We did bounce back in some stocks, and yes, Nvidia down 22 points is a bounce back from where it was last night because it was down over 30. So it's a continuation. It fell a little bit. It can feel a little bit sometimes like there's margin calls going when you get traders that have just been going straight up, and all of a sudden you get this rug pulled out from them in one day. Some traders just get over leveraged, and you can see stuff like this happen where I can actually get themselves in a situation where they can get margin called on just a 5% sell-off. But there was a wreck in so many tech stocks names yesterday. Tesla was trying to hold on to the 405. It collapsed overnight. It has given back 400. It's 388. It has been the leader to the downside. It was the tea leaves stock when we talked about it 3 days ago. When it had the bad day, tech waited a full day before it started to follow suit. But until Tesla starts to turn around, I think you're going to see some continued weakness in tech. So the buy the dip, there will be an opportunity to buy the dip, and this is a dip, not Tesla, I don't think, but in other stocks that you're eyeing up, there will be some opportunities. Like I'm eyeing up Rocket. I obviously sold that or bought that very bad. I rebought it at 28, sold at 33, so that was good. I'm looking, at 25 and a quarter this morning. I've nibbled in a little bit. I want to nibble in some more if this gets into the low 20s. But have your list, have your shopping list. But if you're chasing stocks and saying, okay, this is the big dip on Tesla, I want to get in, what are you buying? I mean, you got to think about what are you buying on Tesla really? It's 388. It's ridiculous, the valuation. It makes no sense whatsoever. And the momentum has come out of it now. So maybe we should let it cool off a bit before we just automatically assume this is going back to all-time highs.
Okay, so you did Tesla there, you did Rocket. I'm just, I think I might take a page out of Eric Kroll's notebook from yesterday. And he said 90% of IPOs undercut their opening IPO price, right? So that's something to keep in mind on for any IPO. I think what's interesting, if we just go back here for a moment and
Sure.
we look at the euphoria from Friday and the splits, right? Oh, Apple, Tesla, big old split, right? Well, they jam people on that. You know how we talked about 80% of the stocks go down? Well, the algorithms got it right, and they jammed everybody and their brother on the day after. And just look at just look at Apple here. Apple on the daily chart, right? You had the split on Friday. So for the split adjusted close, right? That would have been Friday the 28th, 124.81. It got to 137.98 on Thursday. That's a lot of heat, right? So if you're banking on that, because it had that big update. If you were being patient and using that 124.81, or excuse me, no, actually 124.81 is the split adjusted close. Next day 29.04. The same thing here with Tesla, right? And it's funny because you talk about round numbers and you don't think about it on a stock like Tesla, but the split adjusted close for Tesla, I believe, was 442 and change. Let me look at it here exactly. On Friday, you had the close at 442.68. They jammed it up to 500 on Monday, 50014. Tuesday, 502.49.
Yeah.
So you think about the whole, I mean, it's blown through so many whole numbers that it's hard to say, yeah, 500. That was the number, right? 2,500. Right. But there it is. So now you're down, you're breaking down. So I think longer term, you got to really look at that 442.68 in Tesla is a major point. And then also we didn't touch a lot about it on yesterday's show. And I don't know how much impact it had on the markets, on the Robinhood traders, but you do have the SEC investigation in that. So I don't know how that's affecting their operations. Maybe some of the traders over there or investors, were a little bit skittish. So a lot of different factors, but I just, just going back, because we go through a whole week, we talk about so many different things. And if you go back and look 1 week, the split brouhaha for those stocks. But
Well,
Triple D,
analyze the split, and analyze the split and what really occurred there. And you were going to say it and then you went on a tangent. But what's really happened is you have punished everyone. Because you have people like me that are like, okay, this is going to be the topping event for Tesla. This is going to be the topping event for Apple. And I'm trying to play from the short side. Obviously, I cut losers very fast. And I like I said, I was trying to play them from the short side, but it wasn't allowing me because they ripped them, 10% higher again. So what you did was you made sure that there was nobody thinking on the short side, because people were automatically thinking. I said the quantitative statistics show that the stocks are weak after the splits, but they did it 3 days later just to make sure that those quantitative traders didn't make money on it. So the market likes to punish the maximum amount of participants. So anybody who was even leaning short after the split, which I was, couldn't hold on. So it rips them higher, makes everybody just think that, we're just going up forever because who cares? Valuation doesn't matter anything. And then they pull the rug out from under it, and they pull the rug out from under from everybody. Think about how many people are trapped in Tesla right now. Think about how many people are trapped in it. It's went straight down here 100 points. So, you're talking, yeah, it's been an awesome stock. There's a lot of people still up a lot of money in it. But there's a lot of people in the last 5 days that are trapped in this. And there's short-term traders that move price. It's not the long-term investors. It's the short-term traders. So people saying, oh, yeah, here's the dip, 480, 470, 460, 450, 440. Now it's 385. So where can it go? I mean, the stock is completely disconnected from all fundamental analysis. So it can go anywhere. It's just trading on just supply and demand, which all stocks trade on. But there's no demand coming from any value investor on this thing ever. There's no value investor coming in and say, I'm going to buy Tesla. So you only have the Momo traders. And if the Momo starts to come out of it, that's where you can see these stocks really collapse. I'm not saying Tesla, can't go back to 500. It might, but it's not going straight back up there today. I don't think these things just turn around on a dime. Am I looking to buy the dips on stocks? Absolutely. Am I looking to buy the dip on Tesla? Absolutely not.
Aptly stated there. And also, there was also fundamental news, right? They came out with an offering. Now, I know everyone shook their head because
pretty small, but
yeah, it was small. And also, Elon, where did he say his stock was overvalued? Like in here?
Oh, it was 700, and then it did a 5-for-1 stock split. So at $150, he said his stock was overvalued. Or
he did it again recently,
$175. I'm saying the first time.
Oh yeah.
When
okay.
the CEO of the company said his stock was overvalued, it was $175. It's $385. So from Elon Musk's own opinion, his stock is trading twice as high as it should. That's a scary thought if you're long, but I'm not saying sell your Tesla. I'm not saying, it can't bounce. It's a loved stock still. It probably will bounce. It probably will bounce. But if you're putting Tesla in your long-term portfolio and thinking this is going to be the most valuable company in the world in 5 years, I think you're wrong. I don't know when the bubble eventually bursts. Maybe it did 3 days ago. We don't know. But there's other better, safer places to put your money. Tesla was a great investment, last year, when Jason Raznick, but you think about even the Raz is on the show. He's talking about how to hedge it. He's talking about how to hedge it.
Yeah,
so
I
he's
hope
nervous about the valuation too. It just got way overextended. You're still long Tesla. What are you thinking, Joel? Should Tesla be the 6th most valuable company in the world?
No,
it makes no sense, but it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter until it does.
I kind of was in a selling mood the last couple days, and of course the market just ripped higher in my face. But maybe the inclusion into the S&P, which is supposed to be coming, maybe that will give me a little bit of an out. I'm going to have to talk to the CIO and see if we can sell it. But I would love to set that 442, just stick it in my mind now. It's just a great exit. And that is where, the split was. The other thing that I wanted to exit, and this probably don't have time for this today, but how about the analyst top taking some stocks here? We had it with overstock.com. When that day, a day or two, this revolutionary new kind of, I don't know, whatever the guy said. Well, you made your top at 130.
It's straight down. Overstock has been straight down, for nonstop here. It hasn't stopped going down, stop trying to catch a falling knife. This is all just catching falling knives. You're coming and buying the dips on all these things. Every single one's the same thing right now. They're all ridiculously overvalued, and the Momos come out of them. So that can take some time. Will the Momo come back in? Maybe.
Sure.
Maybe. But I'd rather be buying something that I can fall back on value investors at a certain point in time. Not completely saying go to the value trade. I'm not saying, get out and just buy value stocks. Not saying that at all. But I'm saying there are some names in tech that trade with reasonable valuations. I mean, think about Google. It's a reasonable valuation. It got murdered yesterday. Would I be buying Google if it got down to 1,500? Yeah, I already own it. I already own a huge chunk of Google. But if I didn't, I would be buying it when it got down to 1,500. Will Apple be a buy if it gets down to $100? Yeah, it's 117. Would it be a buy if it got down to $100? Probably. So, you can think about names where you don't have to go for the high flyers. The high flyers get hit the most in these types of markets. So nobody knows where we're going to go. Anybody who says, oh yes, we're going to bounce back, we'll go right back to the highs, nobody knows anything. We don't know if it was a topping event. All we know is massively overdone, and it needed a shakeout. And maybe this is just a healthy shakeout, and that's good news. But I'm playing all these stocks. I want to wait until they start to show some life again. I don't want to be here trying to catch the falling knife and saying, yeah, absolutely, there's no way Apple can go below 117. It's just too cheap. It's not cheap. It's trading that's the highest multiple it's traded at in a decade. So it's not cheap, but can the Momo come back into it? Yeah, it can. But why try to predict when the Momo is going to come back in? Let's wait until we start to see it come back in. So that's what I'm just saying. You can buy all these stocks like Tesla and that, but I would say wait until they start to show some life. They're not showing life right now.
Yeah, and also the analyst upgrade on Peloton the other day. I got it up over $90.
I said I think it's going $100.
I know.
You know what? It's not. Now they pulled the rug out. They had me bullish on all these things because nothing made any sense. So I'm like, okay, well, nothing's going to make sense. We're in crazy town here. So you got to ride the momentum. As soon as the Tesla broke, though, 3 days ago now, that was your sign that, hey, maybe you should get out of a little bit of Momo if you're sitting with a lot of Momo. Jeremy Newsom, I don't know if he was looking at Tesla, what he was reading.
I don't know what he was
got
out
right at the high.
I don't know.
Perfect out. Jeremy's an awesome trader. We're going to have him on next week again. He timed stuff very well. But, I got hit a little bit in it. I was, not expecting. But I'm quick to reverse.
Yeah.
Like I said on the show yesterday, what did I say on yesterday afternoon show when I came on? I was like, I'm not looking to buy the dip. I'm looking for bounces to sell. Well, we got a hell of a bounce overnight in a lot of different stocks. Docusign gave you a gift last night.
We will. Can we just do a question here from the chat room?
Yeah.
Did market make? I'm not sure what day they're referring to, but the market makers keep. This is probably about Tesla. Did market makers keep the price below 500 or at 499 and over? and then 400 just something during regular hours for option blocks.
Well,
That, yeah,
always,
go ahead.
always, there's always option pegging that happens. The pins happen around the option expiration time. So, we got to go back and we go to last week. Did you have a potential pin on Tesla? Well, the option expiration day was, when was it?
Friday.
Yeah, the 28th. So yeah, no, we never really pinned anything because we did it on the 500. There wasn't anything expiring on the 500.
Exactly.
That was 3 days. That was 3 days ago. It was an
Now
option expiration
today
day.
the 400 could be interesting.
There you go. Like, can you see potential pins happening and stuff? There's so much volume right now, though, it could overpower any pinning type action. And is it market makers doing nefarious things trying to screw you out of your money? No,
Nope.
we've discussed pinning on this show a half dozen times. All that a pin is that if you're long calls, you're selling the stock short against those calls when it gets when it's like an hour before expiration. I don't want the slippage. If I'm a market maker, I'm going to sell the stock short against my calls so that I can pay a 2-cent spread as opposed to a 25-cent spread sometimes on the option. So what happens is stock goes to 501. You got the 500 call. I sell the stock short at 501. The other market, other market makers are doing the same thing. It's now 585, 550. That natural short selling brings the stock down to 500. And if you're long puts, you're buying the thing at 499, 499 and a half, and that naturally puts upward pressure on it. So the natural action is, of the market makers, as they try to hedge themselves out for the expiration, is to simply, it simply drives it to where there's a lot of open interest at a strike. If it's near 500, that could have been the case. Tesla in this case wasn't at 500 on option expiration; it was in the middle of nowhere. So, but you got to watch on a day like this, where you do have, weekly options expiring on the Friday. Obviously, make sure your stocks have weekly or not. It doesn't apply to them. There will be some pinning action sometimes around those whole numbers in the last half an hour. But are we worrying about a pin at 8, 10, 19 in the morning on Tesla? No, we're not.
Later in the day.
No, there's going to be so much volume coming in. This is going to be a wild ride. Could it wash out to 350? I think it does. I think some of this tech stocks wash out here off the open, and they probably do get a lift. 9:45, but I thought that could have happened yesterday and it didn't. So you've got to be careful, just trying to say, okay, yeah, this is enough now, they're going to bounce. They don't have to do anything. There's a lot of air in here.
One more thing, and then we'll move on to the Docusign earnings. My good buddy Gary, Joel Triple D, many of the stocks have broken their 50 MA line yesterday. What is your opinion on what to do when that happens? I'm going to give my answer first, Triple D, and then you can go. I got some good news and some bad news about the 50 EMA. Okay. The good news is I've never lost any money trading off of it. The bad news is I've never made any money trading off it. So it's just not not in my wheelhouse. Triple D, you want to comment on that?
No, I don't even have a moving average on my screen.
Okay.
Zero moving averages.
Next. Docusign.
No. And this is such a good point to the newer traders. Again, I'll explain. I have just support, resistance, and trends, and that's it. I don't care about the moving average. People will always find some line that it bounced off of. Sure. But is that a trading strategy that makes you money in the long run? Never has made me any money, never has made Joel any money. If it makes you money, by all means, continue to do it. I don't think moving averages help at all because they're a lagging indicator.
Docusign, and just for full disclosure, Triple D was on the Late Show yesterday, and he talked about 260. And as you guys see the after hours chart, the company came in with a beat. Street estimates were at 8 cents. They came in at 17 cents. Did good on revenues too. Estimates stood at 318.57 million. They came in at 342 million. And I think they raised some guidance too. Triple D, did you stick with your plan? Did you just go out there at 260?
Yeah, no, I waited until it stalled a little bit. I was able to get out some shorts off around 258, so pretty close to it. It chopped around. I scalped out of it too soon. I wanted to hold it like to today, but the scalper blood in me. So I made some money on it. I moved on. The one thing, and I always say about this, is there was so much action last night. I didn't want to babysit Docusign. So I made a quick 2-minute trade on it, made some money on it. I think I made 5 or 6 points, made some quick money on it, and then moved on. But I waited until it stopped going up. So I wanted it to top out, and then you could see the stall, and you see a couple offers building, and you're like, there it is. Because it could stall out 270. Like, where's it going to stall? So when you're fading an earnings play, you want to still control the risk somehow. People sometimes just think you can't control the risk. You can. You just got to be really cautious about it. So what you want to see is it blows through, there's no liquidity out there. Everybody's waiting for, okay, when's it going to stop? Then it stalls at around 260. And then you see some people with offers. Ooh, offer.
What do you
And then you see
consider?
them
What do
step
you
down.
consider a decent offer in that after hours?
1,000
You don't have
shares.
to. You don't have to.
1,000 shares.
Yeah, that's what I
1,000
would
shares
say.
to stall it out. 500 shares I would start, but nobody's setting their offers out there. So 500 shares even could stall it out a little bit. So, and do they lift it right away, or do they start piling on in front of it? So you see, 500 shares comes in, then another 500 comes in front of him, then another 500 comes in front of her, and you're all of a sudden you've got some offers to lean on. It's okay. Now I can hit the bet. So to try to get short, and obviously then it continued down, and within 5 minutes it was back and gave it all back. The one thing about that is if you're just trading DocuSign, that's the only trade you're going to make. You could sit there and watch it. I have 111 positions I put on last night, 111 overnight positions. So I cannot sit there and babysit DocuSign. I just can't do it. I'm doing ARB. I'm doing index ARB because it's nuts. So I'm not going to sit there and waste my time. It's like, what's my time worth? I can make so much money doing index ARB, probably more than I can make in DocuSign there, because I can't control the risk as well in DocuSign either. So, it's a little more of a, it's fun, but at the same time, there's, easier money to be made on days where the VIX explodes and stocks going, like they are there. From an index ARB perspective, there's a lot more money to be made just trading that type of stuff.
You got to thank you. The code name here is D Hillbilly. You helped me a lot. Triple D placed a put on NVAX, and that helped my day a lot. So
where's that? Oh, it did give it back.
Yeah,
it gave it back. Overall market, I'm not going to take credit for that one. I was 109 when we were dogging it again. I said all rallies to be sold in Novavax. I'm going to continue to say it. Don't like Novavax. I think it's going under $50 eventually.
Okay, let's go on to Broadcom here, and let me bring up the chart for AVGO. That's true. Got something in the green here. They had a Q2 beat, and they beat EPS by 16 cents. 540 versus estimates of 524. Beat on the revenue side. The street was looking for 5.76 billion, and they made 5.82 billion here. So you got a red candle yesterday after that nice pop at all-time high. Don't see a lot of trading going here. I would look at this one. I would say good to go to the long side, but I'll use that close for the day. If it turns red, then then you could give quite a bit back.
You don't want it going red. It's hard to be a buyer on stocks today when you're seeing other things just get absolutely killed. You're seeing a lot of tech stocks just get hit really hard. I mean, Nvidia is down $23. So, are they going to buy AVGO? It's good that it's holding green. It was a good report. It's a stock that doesn't have as much air in it either. So it is the kind of tech stock that they might buy. So I wouldn't be picking on this one and saying, oh, I'm going to short this. It's going to go right in. I mean, DocuSign was a slam dunk because it's growth tech, and they were slamming growth tech all day. And then you get a 20-point reversal. I mean, it's pretty much not 100% trade, but there's a lot, probably going to say it's an 80% trade you make money on, because it's going against it. AVGO is not this high flying, ridiculously valued growth name. I mean, it's got a 3.68% dividend. So this is more value tech, believe it or not. It's been participating, but it's value tech. Value stocks today are actually trading higher. Look at the IWM, it's up 1.2%. So it's a value type of day. This is a value type of tech stock. This could hold on. Now, if they pull the rug out and start slamming everything, this will get slammed too. But if they decide to start rallying stocks, this could actually rally. So I'd use your number, Joel. You don't want to go red.
Yep, exactly. Yesterday's low is way down at 250, and if you just want to do simple math on this one, let's say you wanted to sell on Wednesday, but you didn't. You're thinking of selling today. What did you have? You had let's just call it 375. If it got up near that area, that's taken halfway back, 378.96. But I'll stick with this 375.01 number, and the reason is that it's its all-time closing high, and that was the all-time closing high on Wednesday. So there's my number, 375.
I got 1 minute. I've got to have to get off.
1 minute. Okay,
I've got to have to trade. So you're going to run your show for about 7-8 minutes by yourself. But just one more stock if you want to do one here.
Which one?
I don't even care. Grab one from the chat. We'll do one quick ticker from the chat.
Let's see here.
Let's talk Nvidia. I see it in there. I mentioned it just briefly there. Let's go Nvidia. Loved stock. I thought it was going to 600. It went to 590, 589, and they pulled the
Mm-hmm.
rug out from under it. Now you got some work to do. So you're going to find some
Mm.
support in here somewhere, but 450 maybe. But you could bounce on these. Just be careful. You're shorting them now and you're hedging it up now. It just fell 100 points in 3 days. So, now is the time if you're looking at Nvidia and you think it's eventually going to bounce back. Now is the time maybe that you do start to look at this as, can it reverse? Can it start to show some life? Does it bottom? Again, making that trade. Where is it open? Does it fall out after the open, wash some people out, and then start coming back through the open? Because it comes up through the open, then the momentum's on your side, and then you could strike. So
Okay.
that trade wouldn't have happened yesterday because the stuff opened low and then just kept going lower.
Go wide there.
I'm going wide.
Go wide, Triple
And I'm going to go do
D.
some trading. I'm going to put myself on mute. I will still be here with you. Pray for me.
Okay. Okay, I'm just going to look at this NVDA here. You got a pre-market low at 491.55. You're $5 off that. So, hey, if you want to lean on that pre-market low, be so inclined. It actually hit that 2 times. On the dailies, it's hard to find something in that area. Let me go to a daily low. I'd like to see if a daily low coincides with that. And I don't have anything there. 487.81 was your August 21st low, and then you drop off here to 475.15. So here we are. We have a jobs number. The indications from yesterday with the initial claims wasn't real good. I never go to short-term charts here, folks, but for this jobs number, let's see if we can get a little action Jackson here. I'm going to go to the 1-minute chart. You see where we're at. Jobs report imminent as they reported. I don't know what exactly they're looking for. We're trading down 7.5 handles. Here we come. The big release, the O that we've been waiting for here all week. S&Ps are trying to tick up a little bit. On the upside here, you do have your closing price from yesterday at 62.5. So that is going to be the first bogey to clear. On the upside, 62.5. We are popping a little bit, going towards that closing price of 62.50. We are at 60 even, 61. They're liking the numbers so far. First, couldn't get to that closing price. Was looking for 62.50. Now they're coming back with the sellers. So here we go. We got a nice range here. Initial pop, a little bit of a drop, but it looks like really trying hard to go green here at 62.50. Unemployment rate at 8.4% here. Not exactly sure what they were looking for. Fading a little bit here, not making that close. Now, I just want to look at some stocks. Pre-market low is way down at 26.50. You have the low from yesterday. That's quite a ways away. Thursday's low came in at 24.50. And 21.75 is your 8-day low. So you don't know if you're going to have the scenario where you actually close on the low for the week. Sellers are ganging up here in the spoos, turned them back at the closing price, or just shy of that. I wish it would have gotten there. Pulling back even more. We're at our lowest level now since we made that high at 84 and a quarter. Let's see, averaging hourly earnings, 0.4%. The labor force participation rate, 61.7%. I don't really think this stuff means anything. We couldn't clear the close, which was 62.50. And right now, we're basically right back. I think we were back at 53.54 right before that number started. So bulls and bears still battling out here. I'd like to take a look. Let's get rid of the 1-minute chart because makes me dizzy watching that. Let's go back to the 15-minute chart and see if we can find some stocks that are moving off this news. And let's go to the banks. Let's go to JP Morgan. I know that they tried to muster a rally yesterday. Some of the banks, JP Morgan is trading in the green here by $1.50. Let's incorporate the pre-market action into this. Remembering these stocks do want higher interest rates. We don't know when that's going to be happening. Not moving a whole lot. This is the pre-market. Just went green here, folks. Did clear that closing price of 62 and a half. Now the main thing will be can we stay green here? That is the primary thing. JP Morgan, I'm surprised here. This thing has hardly moved. Let's look at Bank America, see if there's any action. Bank America getting a little bit of a top. I know that close from Wednesday was right in this area. Let's look at Apple. I mean, the SPOOs are rallying. Can Apple muster a rally? Tech not really moving. Apple off the lows of the pre-market session, but nothing to write home about. What about Tesla? Tesla getting really beat up yesterday. Tesla trying to get back up to that $400 area. So you are seeing a little bit of a bounce here in the tech. I don't know if this is exactly what you were looking for. AVGO, we were just talking about that one as a boy, it's creeping up a little bit. That's just kind of all over the place. 354 for me. That's sitting pretty close to yesterday's low, so be keeping an eye on 350. Turn back at the close, just over the close again. Let me see where we got to here. Yes, S&Ps, I believe we got over 63. So there's a quick look at the action here. Let's see. Snap, crackle, pop says the airline and cruise lines are moving a little bit. I mean, they're trying. $14. I know we're a ways away, trading at 13.51, but 14 has kept a lid on 8AL. Let's see here really over the last couple weeks, going back to early August. Carnival Cruise Lines, the reopening stocks, good day yesterday, tacking on 72 cents a day, trading at 18.30. I mean, I think this one could be pretty easy to take a look at. You have the high from yesterday at 1874. That's a big bogey here for Carnival Cruise Lines. SPOO's back and unchanged here, and there's the battleground. Someone said here you can hear me calling ponies. I don't know if this would be appropriate time to preview the Kentucky Derby and the Kentucky Oaks, but we will do that before the show ends, maybe at 9 o'clock. Let me just see if Mr. Raznick is in the queue to discuss the trading action and his portfolio, what he's doing in these markets. And let me check my multiple controls that I have going on here. Nope, Mr. Raznick has not arrived yet. Let me see who we got. Nope, no Mr. Raznick yet. S&Ps fail at that closing price, down 5.75. 1.37 million jobs added in August. Unemployment rate falls to 8.4%. So it looks like all the stimulus, everything that we've been doing, is helping the unemployment rate. So I think overall good news off that report. Market still in an indecision mode. Let's just talk about the other stocks here we talked to the banks and we talked to the tech from yesterday. Let's do a little bit more of the COVID play stocks. Zoom had that big old move on earnings day. I don't know. Wants to fill the gap here. That's down trading $12. That did not get a pop off that number. Long ways to go to fill the gap, but definitely sell the news scenario. And Zoom, I know Zscaler moved off that news as well. That's topped out the day after. That's trading down 645. What are some of the other stocks that people are interested in? Oh, AYX. It's hanging in there, trying to break out of the that high area. 130 is where we gap down from. Grab some stocks here from the chat while we wait for Dennis. Thank you, Jonathan Walsh. Thank you for the good job there. I'm going to grab a drink of water if you folks don't mind.
I'll keep trying to talk while I'm trying to trade here.
No, Dennis, don't worry about it. We got Raz coming on.
It's calming down a little bit here, so there was some whipsaw action. I tried to play the bounce. So we rallied up, we sold all off, then we rallied all up again, and we're kind of trying to hold the gains. Like you said, banks are lifting. That's where, if you're looking, at the source of strength, it definitely is in the banks. And if I get distracted,
Tech didn't really pop.
No, and that's to be expected because these numbers are not related to tech as much. So
No.
banks are always directly impacted by this kind of stuff. And obviously they have popped. I mean, we have popped back somewhat. Nvidia was down like 25 points, only down 20 now. So you've seen a little smidgen of a rally here in some of the tech stocks, but they're still pretty ugly. So I mean, this is the market that we're in. There's obviously, we're seeing a lot of rotation. So what we're seeing is that classic rotation into IWM names. That's why the IWM remains strong even after the number here. You can see if you're just looking, it's the stay at home versus obviously the reopening. A lot of the reopening stocks here are rallying on this number. So value, I'd say value versus growth. Value is winning right now here, at least in the pre-market.
All right. Did any of those stuff that you talked about on the pre-market show, that any of that stuff, or the pre-market show, that any of that stuff come in line? Or you
you saw a lot of separation. I was saying with IWM and some of the reopening, you're starting to see that separation now come in, where you're seeing the banks really pick up the slack. The banks are up substantially here after this number. You can look at like a Bank America here. And I'm trading actually just out of Bank America here now as I talk about it. But it's definitely, and you can really tell I'm distracted because I have so many.
Okay, go. You know what? I got Raz coming on here.
I'm trying to do a show here. You're seeing movement again.
Go. Let's just I'll take some stocks. I'm waiting for Mr. Raznick here to join us at 8:40, 8:45. But we could go back to the stocks. Someone asked very specifically about Apple in the pre-market, and it's still down 268. Now, the only thing, and you can't make a big deal of, this is a 15-minute chart and a 6, and I got the 60 down here. But what you're seeing, you had that spike after hours down to 116 that happened between 4 and 4:15. But someone's just settling in here. And you have to be a halfway decent buyer to have a stock stop within 20, 30 cents 3 or 4 times, 117.18 to 117.36. That have been your lows since 8 a.m. So maybe someone has the 125 puts or the 120 puts. They're looking for a little rally off the open. Let me go back to my charts here to better illustrate what I'm talking about. So that first things first, is that 117 area, is that buyer going to remain there during the regular session? Let's go to the daily charts to see if we have any confluence with that level. Not really. 119 and a quarter. That was your low on August 21st. Your next daily low, I mean, if you're a daily trader, can't hold that 117 and change, maybe get your bids out above 115.73. And that was your high on August 20th. Maybe if you don't want to miss it, go 116. But that's what you're looking at. An important thing on the upside for Apple today, for me, that closing price, 120.88. Your low for the day was right at that area. 120.50. So there's potential resistance. Big range yesterday. The high from yesterday, 128.84. They're starting to like this jobs number a little bit more, folks. We have turned green on the session. We're up by $1.50. Getting a lot of requests here for FedEx. That was a stock that Mr. Chaikin considers a bellwether stock now for the market. Are those packages are they going to keep being delivered? Is Amazon and FedEx, are they going to still just pile? I get 2-3 packages in my house per day. That made a new high for the move yesterday. That is trading green by 8, just by a few cents here. Nothing major. But I do have a level I do like here, and I will keep an eye on 220. I mean, you could say 218.01 and 218.59, 219.14, but let's just all call it 220. That's held up the market in FedEx since August 28th. After that, I'm looking perhaps to a $5 drop to 215.08. And you want it to stay green on the session. Not sure if you're going to get a look at yesterday's high at 231.58. That was early in the session yesterday, so a little bit of resistance ahead of that at 227.91. That was your closing price on Wednesday. So we could take some more stocks here from the chat. I love doing it for you guys. A little extended ticker time. Haven't talked about Plug Power in a while. PLUG. We had, I believe, the CEO on this stock. The stock has cooled off just a little bit. $14. That's your major resistance area. Made a run at that in August. You made a run at that just earlier in the week. Now falling back, trading up 70 cents. That's a nice pop here. Let's get your pre-market high at 1246. That's the first thing you want to clear. And then, hey, keep an eye on you after that kind of drop yesterday. I'm sure some people would like to see yesterday's high of 1311, but longer term, really have to keep an eye on that $14 area. Tuesday's high 1420, Wednesday's high 1409. Apple, with a little bit of a pop here. Maybe those buyers at the 117 level are stepping up to the plate. I mean, Apple being the biggest component now in the S&P 500, it's going to move with the SPOOs just from a index arbitrage point of view, still trying to make its way up to that closing price from yesterday at 120.88. That'd be a good number. And then I haven't looked at the open interest in the weekly Apple options, but we talked earlier in the show about the pinging action, and that'll be something to keep an eye on. All right, 8:44 here, and I'm going to get a sip of water, and I am going to bring in Mr. Raznick. I'm going to stop the share here so we can see his handsome mug from his home. Jason Raznick joins our show every Friday to talk about the markets. Jason, how are you doing on this Jobs Number Friday?
First, tell me, can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
New headset, Bluetooth. So you never know. But it's good technology. Anyway, I'll get back to the most important part, the markets. Jobs numbers were all right. Market looks like to be bouncing a little bit, as you can see. But Joel, yesterday was a very interesting day and something that people have not been used to for about 2 months, I would say, or 6 weeks. And Joel, every single time the market's fallen like this, the move was to buy more, right? Now, I didn't take that approach. I did with a couple stocks, but
Okay.
I sold some stuff. And here's the way I look at it. When my portfolio, I'm just going to make a number up, guys. Okay, this is not what my portfolio did, but I make up a number. When my portfolio goes up, let's say 30,000 a day, versus going down 30,000 a day, I would rather my portfolio not like the risk versus reward. I'm way more upset when it's going down 30 than I am excited when it's going up 30. And so what I realized is I had too much on. I had to take some of this risk off. Even if I'm missing some of the upside, I had too much on that I'm risking, like example, Tesla. And Dennis and Joel know I've been selling Tesla since $500, and not a lot, guys. So if you're talking about my portfolio position, I was 30%, 25% Tesla. I've been selling 10 to 20 shares a day since like 520 or whatever that thing was. And I sold at 440. I sold, and my wife, who knows about this Tesla stuff, is like so against me selling it. But it's just like risk aversion a little bit. And I just think there's times to raise some cash. Like a stock that I talk about in the morning show with you guys is Upwork. I'm a fan of Upwork. I think when it has earnings, it's going to this quarter or next quarter, but I took some off at 16 so I could buy more if it goes down to 14. Yes, I may miss some of it, but I just said, hey, there could be a better day. Why risk this capital, I guess, is what.
How about it's probably because, being in the markets and your experience, over the years with your own portfolio managing up and down. What do you say to the person that I just ran into a person at the pool yesterday? The market was down. They're like, I should have sold yesterday. I should have sold yesterday because it's down a lot today, but I'm gonna just wait for it to come back up. I mean, it's such a psychology that you hear from people. How do you have like it kind of like the reverse psychology where when the market's down, you want to take the risk off? What would you say to people that make those
No,
kind of comments?
and it's exactly right. So today is Friday. Tuesday afternoon, I was talking to my brother-in-law, and he's in big investor in Tesla, and he follows my picks and follows along, and he's made a lot of money. And I was saying like, and he was agreeing, it's just been too easy, Joel. It's just been too easy. And so what happens is you have this significant FOMO, fear of missing out. So it's been too easy, too easy. So you don't, like, okay, I got to buy more. I'm not selling because the market just goes straight up and it's just too easy. So when stuff feels too easy, like my returns being what they are, it just doesn't seem right when it's too easy. Every pick going up. I mean, Dennis has been calling me out saying like Raz is the man. He doesn't picks and like yes, I mean some of them have been great, but it seems like it's too easy. So what I say is the Warren Buffett way. When people are like do the opposite of what the market is eventually. And so I started when into strength. I was taking some stuff off. I told you guys I sold some lithium. I'm still long the call options. I'm still long stock, guys, but I've been taking stuff off into strength. Into weakness, it's the opposite. You should be buying. With what your person was saying yesterday, it's the dollar cost average thing. So some of my best stock picks ever are Peloton and Slack. I originally bought Slack at $32 when it went IPO. But if you look at my E-Trade account, my average cost on Slack, which is the symbol is WORK, is $17.86 because I did the opposite of your friend, Joel. I bought into weakness. I kept buying as it went down. Dollar cost average. When it goes down and you have conviction, you buy. If you don't have conviction, then you don't play it. Now, listen, if you're trading technicals and you're look at the charts, the candles, that's a different game. I'm talking about companies that I'm invested in that I want to hold. I think of myself as the owner of the company. So when I look at my portfolio of companies, just like a venture capitalist, I look at lithium, I look at Slack, and I'm like, I want to own those in my portfolio. So I bought it originally stupidly at $34. But as it got killed, I bought heavy and now it's a big winner. Peloton, the same thing. So it's Mr. Market is Mr. Market, but there's individual trades out there,
Well, let's talk about this Peloton here for a second, because I don't know. I'm getting a little itchy on it, and you had the big analyst boost on the other day. I don't know where they bumped their price target to. Folks, when someone gives you a price target and they say something's going to 105, they don't mean it's going there that day. Okay, I know Dennis says they say that all the time, but got really excited. Couple pullback here. I mean, man, when I see a top like that, then a red candle after that, I mean, I'm still holding on. It's long term, but man, I'm tempted to rig the register. Have you taken any of the Peloton off?
Yes, I took off 50% of the position. I have the other 50%, and it's just the profit that's right. Riding. Oh, I do have shorts, guys. We'll get to the shorts in a second. I definitely short stocks. I don't want to just be long. So I've taken 50% of the position off, and I've been selling it into strength. I sold my call options on it, which is I wish I could have had some of them. But this stock, I mean, has risen a lot. But I am not suggesting, Joel. Okay, they want me to, I'm being too serious. Peloton is a winner. Okay, the people are obsessed with it. It is a winner. This stock could go to $120. I wouldn't be surprised if the stock goes to $120, Joel. That's what I would say to you. Everyone and their mother and brother and sister are talking about it. I've never seen enthusiasm for a company like this other than the Apple iPhone when it came out back in the day. I've never seen it. You know why, Joel? It's not just because it's an expensive workout equipment. It is because they priced it right. They are appealing to so many segments of the market. I have never seen a company do a better job appealing to so many segments of the market. So the question you have to ask is, just like RKT, did Peloton move up too fast, too quick? That's the question you have to ask. My guess right now is there is room for it to go higher. That is my position on it, or else I'm not going to sell the other picks like
They
that.
have they have earnings coming up.
Yeah, they have
Just
earnings September 8th.
yeah,
September 8th, next week.
just a little bit, and you know, I could, you know, because I talk to you all the time. How you feeling? Because I mean, I could tell that you got the Raz, but you don't have the razzmatazz, and some people are saying,
I'm
"How's the
all
COVID? How's that and everything?" I mean, I can't
right, all
say
right.
you're 100%. I'd be offering like at 92, 93. But
Yeah, I
some
mean,
people are asking.
it will say 86%, 86. I'm
Okay.
not the crazy guy today, but or loud and Jim Cramer-ish, but I saw Jim Cramer yesterday. It looked like he was in a hostage cell, like on a couch, and not used to how you see Cramer. I gave the Peloton answer, but I know they asked about some shorts. So what am I
Okay.
short?
Yep.
Let's go to that for a second, Joel. So I people know that I'm short Planet Fitness, but I'm not saying P. Yep, there you go. Wow, that was so fast, Joel. Wow, holy cow! I was like up there before I even said it. So Planet
There
Fitness.
is a delay. There is a little bit of a delay.
That was sweet though. Okay.
Go ahead.
So Planet Fitness is not the one that you guys should just go short today. They're gonna get a boom, like a bounce, because some more gyms are opening up. I just think Planet Fitness was you know, moved quickly. Pull up Ruth's Chris was another one. RUTH.
Thank you. I can tell.
RUTH.
Yeah.
No, Kramer doesn't have it. So RUTH is one I short when I think the markets are going to fall and people aren't going to spend money. It's not going to be necessarily today. This will be a thing when you get some bad economic numbers. But these are ones that, like, I see how they respond. I know how they trade. I'm not short Ruth right now. Let me tell you a couple other ones that I play that are more. Hold on.
And after that, I want to ask you about the the gambling sector and
GAN?
yeah, GAN. Let's start with
Let's
that.
just skip it. So I sold a little bit of GAN yesterday, only because I was like, all right, we're up 12% or 14% on it. And I want, if it goes down today to 17, I'm going to buy a bunch. And so I still own a decent amount of GAN, but I sold like 20% of the position yesterday for the sole purpose that I thought we're going to have a 2-day downtrend. I'm wrong right now. And that's what I'm saying. Whenever I sold when the market goes down, I'm usually wrong on that. And I'm being honest. I'm not good at that. And I sold a little bit of GAN, and to the sole fact that I was hoping it would go to 18 today. I'm hoping GAN falls to 18 today, and I'm going to buy. So I sold 20% of GAN yesterday. My goal was for it to go to 18 today, and I was going to buy 40% of GAN. I was doubling up big time, but what I want is not happening. So when I came, I'm a little disappointed this morning. When I came downstairs, I was hoping we'd have a little more sell-off this morning, so I could buy up a bunch of things for cheap. All right, we'll get to Rocket here. You want to get to RKT?
Sure.
RKT, people, it's the third person that's asked it. You guys stopped that again? Well, don't stay away from GAN. It's a stock that you should own in your portfolio. May not today, but you should own GAN, okay? All right, yeah, exactly. I'm not disappointed, Raymond, that there's not more blood. I'm disappointed that we can't buy these good companies at cheaper values. I don't want to see anyone get hurt. Like I that's not me. Also, by the way, guys, you want to sleep at night. So don't put all your capital and risk all this stuff. I trade on margin sometimes, but I do it very lightly. Like yesterday, I was on margin and I sold out of some of the margin because I don't want to not sleep at night. Like don't risk your capital. Allocate, have a long-term portfolio like Dennis and Joel always say, and then have some of your risk trades. I mean, Dennis was making 100 trades last night. Have some of your risk trades on. So RKT, here's what I would say. Are you in it for the long term? If you're in it for the long term, you're good. RKT is going to, this is my opinion, okay? I can't give you facts. I'm not an encyclopedia. RKT is going to perform for the long term. There is no doubt in my mind. What people don't understand is doing a mortgage is very difficult because of all the licensing that you have to get. And then not only do they have all that, and not only can they scale up if they're going to get another 10,000 mortgages a week, they can do in all the states. But not only that, forget even that, they also do the servicing. It's insane. So they have the servicing, so they can go to the portfolio and see they have a 2 trillion of servicing right now, or 800 billion of servicing, and they can say, all right, let's go contact these people and let's refinance them. I mean, they own the vertical. I had dinner with another mortgage broker last night from another company, and he is like, I have never seen a company, such a gold mine that literally is set up for success for years to come. So RKT, I am long and strong for the long term. RKT is a trade. I own some call options in the weeklies today. So yes, I need to see RKT get to about 28 today. So could we get some RKT buying? Wait, this guy. Okay, hold on. So I do like to see a little bounce today. It's not moving yet. It's moving down a little bit. People don't understand RKT. They don't understand, but RKT, 25. Like if RKT hits 24 today, guys, I'm buying it up in a big way.
Okay, I want to just go back to the gambling stocks here, and
yeah, go ahead.
I took some heat earlier in the week when they talked about Michael Jordan joining DraftKings, and I just wanted to. I know you've been in this area for a while, and I want to get your opinion on Michael Jordan, and I want to get your opinion on DraftKings.
Okay, so I've owned call options in DraftKings and Penn National, and I still own Penn National call options. I don't own DraftKings call options anymore because the valuation is way higher on DraftKings than it is Penn, and Penn's going to have that app, but Penn has risen a lot. I've owned Penn since $12. DraftKings is getting a lot of hoopla. The Michael Jordan trade could be very valuable. Do you guys remember when Oprah joined Weight Watchers board and got involved and that stock took off like no other? So that's what I relate it to. DraftKings, though, has a lot of momentum. A lot of sports are coming back, and they're doing a lot of partnerships. I wouldn't be selling off this market. Like, don't try to control it. I like Penn better than DraftKings, but I'm actually sad that I don't have my call options in DraftKings anymore because the Michael Jordan type move is a strong move. Like, they haven't announced that, ownership and deals, but Michael Jordan has done everything in his career.
What about Jordan and the Bad Boys?
Okay, F him. I don't want. You almost had me swear, but Joel, you almost had me swear, and I stopped because Spencer and Dennis are not here today, and
Dennis is lurking in the background. I see him smirking back there. Triple D, you want to hop in at all
I'm
here?
listening. I'm listening.
You're enjoying. I see you
Trading
laughing.
machine
You
over
love
here,
this
though.
show. You better like this show. I can see
I
you
made
laughing.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 trades in the last 10 minutes.
And
27 trades in the last.
Literally, it's just I couldn't make that many trades that fast. Like you have like a streaming platform, and you're like hitting buy, sell.
That's click and point. That's point and click right there.
I know.
I'm just swinging the arrows back and forth. The stuff's there is getting, because people are excited. They're like, oh, I got to buy the stock. I'm like, no, it's above where it should be. So I just sold 3 more stocks right where we talked right there.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. 90023, 90026. There's another one. Because I've got orders sitting out there too. And I have some automation to help me too. So I'm managing that as well. But I'm just doing the index ARP. So when you see stocks like just ripping higher, well, sometimes they overshoot on these stuff, right? Because people are just like excited. There's not a lot of liquidity out there in the pre-market. So if they overshoot it, for instance, you can look at the IWM. If you just want to do simple analysis, you got the IWM trade up 1.64%. So you're looking at value components in there, and you get value stocks trading up 2.5%, 3%. They're probably overshooting it. If they're only up 0.5%, they're probably undershooting it. There's an opportunity there. I mean, that's, just what I'm doing, a very simplistic example.
All right. So guys, I know you want to see the screen and sharing that stuff. We may have a surprise for you in a couple weeks where we may do some of that stuff, but like regulatory stuff, we can't show Dennis's screen and stuff like that, but we may be doing that in a few weeks and something. So I can't really spill the beans on it yet, but we're working on some stuff for you guys because I know it's cool to see the screen, and I'll do the same. Like, I'm making trades this morning for sure, and rocking a few other things, and I'm happy to show my screen on it. There's just some things where I don't know. People don't like to see necessarily the dollar amounts, and we have to do some technology cleaning up to see if we can figure that out. So eventually we'll play with you, or we'll do a virtual one. So just hang in there on that. We do see the feedback. So yeah, okay. Now, one more thing, guys. So today, what's going to be the trend?
We are chop right now, so we haven't really identified. It looks like value is winning over growth right now. Let's see what happens. The one concern is, Jason, is that we've had a significant rally here overnight. You're going to see some real money come in. They might be saying, oh, I want to sell into this bounce because I really got slammed yesterday. So I'd be a little bit cautious just chasing this, 13-point rally that we've seen in the S&Ps and this 200-point rally that you're seeing in the Dow this morning, because it's counter trend from where it was yesterday. Correct. So it's like a snapback rally. And there's probably a lot of people who got burned yesterday lurking a little bit higher, saying if I could get my money back in this, I'll just get out. Because there's short-term traders that are caught in the last few days, believe me.
Okay.
And
so I'm somewhat cautious, but again, like you said, Rocket, if Rocket gets down to the lower 20s, I'm buying it too. So, I missed it. I screwed that one up. Obviously, I sold it. I bought and sold it. And I just got nervous. I didn't like where it was going. And then it ripped without me. And then I had a nice trade. I bought it from 27, sold at 33 before the print. So I'd like to get back in around like 25. And then I could actually almost be back because I made $6 on it. It's almost like rebuying it at 19 for myself because I did scalp that 6 points out of it. So I'm interested in the Rocket. I like that company. The money they're making is significant as well. So you're thinking you got some growth here along with the company that's actually trading at a reasonable valuation. It's attractive.
And if I listened to the entire conference call of Rocket, and they also mentioned dividend like they may do or other things that they didn't want to tip their hand. The company, here's a line: the company has grown. Anytime that you wanted to sell it, it went up in value. And they figure stuff out, and they have a lot of things going for it. I mean, look at the small business loans. I mean, they did like 200 million or 800 million for helping for the small business loans. That's a Rocket Loans business. They have so many. I love when companies have so many levers they can pull on. So people used to ask me about Snapchat, guys. Like, hey, should I buy Snapchat? And the only lever that Snapchat has to pull on is advertising revenue. And so that is literally not a ton of levers. Rocket has so many different levers, literally. And so I'm comfortable in that. I like that. Just like other stocks do. I mean, even Peloton, monthly subscriptions. I love monthly subscriptions. Like, it's like Twilio. People think Twilio's overvalued, but it's the thing behind the thing. Let's go back to the thing behind the thing. Like don't just trade for the technicals. I mean, you can to look at your ranges, but what I'm saying to you is when I look at companies, I want to own a portfolio of companies that I would want to own in a down market. So Slack is one of them. You could argue the valuation is high, but Slack is one of them because in a down market, it's one I want to buy because it's the thing behind a thing. It's how a lot of companies connect, communicate, and use other platforms. And by the way, I'll tell you two things that scare me in the market big time. So I've been in the markets for a long time. When the markets sold off for a long time and not short term, I'm talking about a long-term sell-off. It was when there was a ton of IPOs, a ton of companies raising more money, and insider selling. We have that right now. There are too many IPOs registered to go public. There are too many direct listings. And what happens is there's only so much liquidity in the world. And if you have an unlimited amount of companies going public, then you got to divvy up the money amongst all these companies. So instead of it being all in Rocket or being in Amazon, there's only so much liquidity. So if you go back in history from the 90s, when the markets or the .com is when there are too many IPOs. And so if I could do anything in the market right now, I would say there should be a regulation on only 2 IPOs a week at the max if they could do that. And then we'd be a lot more comfortable.
All right. S&Ps, we went green. We went green by a good margin.
And remember, we are 14 handles below fair value. So green on the S&Ps is actually up 14 handles because we tanked between 4 and 415. So it screws up on the closing price.
Correct.
So we are actually trading up 14 handles on the S&P relative to fair value. We're up 0.42% on the market right now, if you're looking at it from the S&P's perspective. So the futures can be deceiving because you have to do that adjustment because the stocks close at a different time than the futures. So if there's a significant movement during that 15-minute period, it throws it out. So easy way to look at it is look at the SPY. The SPY is priced the same because it closes at 4 and the stocks close at 4. SPY is up 0.42%. That's what your market is up.
And closing price, Dennis mentioned we did have some tankage a little bit after the close, but I still look at that 415 closing price, 62.50. Had a little trouble with more off the jobs number, but we came back. We're holding firmly above it. Target on the upside, 84 and a quarter. That was your pre-market high. Pre-market low looks pretty safe for now. That's 26.50. The low in yesterday's session, 24.50. Dennis, any comments here? We're getting final
If they
comments.
pull the rug out from under, look at last night's lows. If you have the capabilities to look at where we were trading last night on some of these stocks, a lot of times you see where they trade after hours lows. They sometimes bounce at those levels. So if you do pull the rug out from under this market, I would expect some support around that 343 on the SPY. So about 40 handles down from here, because that's where we bounced off of last night. So obviously anybody who's shorting it down there is under heat now. So Tesla again, where was the afternoon hours low in Tesla, Joe? Because we've come all the way back.
Yeah,
Tesla was down at one time $30.
Yeah,
and it's come all the way back here, which is a nice
over
bounce
400.
here.
Yep.
What's overnight low? Just for the traders out there.
Yeah, that was at 382.50, and I had talked about when you were trading during the jobs number. I was talking about someone just making a stand at 117.40 in Apple. Well, they're dumping it here, or they're waiting to dump it at the closing price. Yesterday's low 120.50. So it was just a short-term trader in there or whatever, but that support's holding up. We'll see what we can do at the close. And now I got just a quick question for both of you. Do you guys know what's going on this weekend on Saturday?
Yep.
Kentucky Derby.
Yep. But you know what, guys? I didn't tell you. I've owned Zoom since $70, and I sold a little Zoom yesterday. I sold 10% of my position.
Starting to lighten up. I like the way he does these 10% sells. They're so light, 10%, 10%.
So light.
Maybe that's what I need to do, is do the 10% rule. Because I do like half, and then I like, oh, it's too small now, and they just sell it off.
Dennis, it's the phone. It was 16%. I just did the calculation, but it was 16. I thought it was 10. But
that's free trading. You abuse this free trading, don't you?
I do. I would never have done it like this, by the way.
Free trading abusive.
Yeah. Yeah.
The chat's asking for the Derby, and I just, my article is going to be out later on today, but you know how I always like to look for long shots, right? And I'm always long shot Hanover and trying to figure the horse that's going to beat the favorite and get a good exacta. Well, I'm throwing in the towel on that. And I'm going, I like the favorite's going to be hard to beat. 'Tis the Law. Just looked great in the dirt, in the Belmont. He looked great in the Travers Stakes. But I got a little twist for you guys. I'm just as interested in the Kentucky Oaks today. That race is at 5:45, and there's a filly in there called Gamine, and she is a super filly. So what I'm hoping for, and I'm not wagering because the risk reward ratios aren't there. I hope Gamine wins the Kentucky Oaks going away. 'Tis the Law wins the Derby going away, and you set up for a Preakness for the ages where you bring in 2 super horses to run into Preakness, and that's what I'm hoping for. So no wagers, no long shots. I'm going to the favorites. If the favorites don't win, then I'll just go back to picking long shots. But good race today at 5:45. I'll grab a little Woodford Reserve and maybe a little Jim Beam and check that race out. But folks, we're gonna wrap it up. Jason,
wait, Joe,
any final thoughts?
Joel, spell the horse that you think's gonna win. The name again, the first name.
Tiz.
T-I-Z. Okay. So I look it up. I just want to make sure.
Super favorite. Not a good risk reward.
Not a good one. Okay.
No, not a good risk reward.
All right. Hey, by the way,
like even money.
Guys, RKT went green in the call in this thing. So, hey, we got some pre-market prep thing. Yeah. So, hey, guys, that's just someone just posting in chat. I haven't checked it yet. Guys, we're here for you. This is the community. We know it's a tough market today or yesterday, and it's going to happen. But we're always going to be here for you, not just on up days and down days. All I just want to leave it off with, like, be careful in the markets. Don't put all your life savings in stocks and take risks because you want to have more leverage and move up faster. The get rich, get quick schemes don't work in life. And I know it's been fun when markets trade up. I just want people to balance stuff out. Doesn't mean you have to sell everything today, but just be careful. That's it. Like and Dennis and Joel, they're professionals. Dennis can make hundreds of trades as we're talking and know how to risk and hedge and all that stuff. So like, I want you guys all in this community, and I want you guys to last and do amazing in your account, to appreciate and go up in value for the long term, not just the short term. So we want you guys here with us. So just, be careful. That's all.
Yeah, we try and talk about a lot of different things.
Yep.
All the information, material, and/or content contained in this program is for informational purposes only. Investing stocks, options, and futures and risky and not suitable for all investors. Please consult your own independent financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Raz, feel better. Get some rest over the weekend. Triple D, maybe cool your fingers off in some cold water after you're done trading here. Folks, keep an eye on that closing price in the S&P 6250. I don't think we're going to break down or have any major pullback till we take that out. And as always, looking at the pre-market high is a potential long target. Thanks all for joining us for this 1 hour and 13-minute show. I'll be back at 3:40 with At the Close show. Thanks for joining.
Thank you. Awesome show, guys. Bye-bye.